The armbar is one of the first, if not the first submission lock you'll learn inside BJJ. It incorporates total body mechanics, teaches the concept of isolation and hyperextension, which are all fundamentals in jiu-jitsu. So in this video, I'm going to teach you the basic armbar from guard, along with a couple variations. Okay, we're going to be going over the basic armbar with variations using the gi and wrist control. If you're finding me for the first time, feel free to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell to catch all my upcoming BJJ and MMA videos. Okay, let's get to it. Let's start off with the basic armbar. Now, these movements that we're going to be developing right here is going to be the basis for all the future variations we have, and even the more intricate ones down the line. Okay, so we're going to start with having our opponent or our partner inside of our guard. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to be basing this on me trying to isolate their left arm. So how I'm going to do that is bring my own left arm to behind the left tricep. When I do this, I'm not looking just to grab the tricep right here and pull across, because if I go over, they have an extra sense of a limb to defend with. Instead, I'm going to be coming underneath the near side arm, coming across to grab the tricep. With my free hand, I'm grabbing that same wrist, that same arm, and I'm going to go ahead and push it across to give me and develop an angle. Now this window, when I do get control here and pull this across, this only lasts for like a second or so. So the window for me to get that control is very limited. At this point, I will go ahead and open my guard up. When I do, I want to keep my left leg framed up close to his hip and bring the other foot right behind on this hip on the same side arm. This helps me isolate his arm a little more. Before, if I just kept this down, if he just pulled back and forth, we're playing this tug of war, and this is a battle that he'll win. So when I post up the foot to the hip and clamp this in, now when he goes back and forth, he has to literally move his whole body to get away from me. Okay. Now we're gonna go into the hardest part of the armbar, and that's where we kind of pivot and get the angle. Now this foot and this leg that's framed, we're gonna use this to offset his base. We're gonna go ahead and slide this heel up, pushing the side of our shin, the side of our knee, behind his armpit. At the same time, I'm elevating my hip and pushing off this foot, getting me a better angle. Now I'll adjust my hip and bring the leg around. Now even when I got this attachment, there's several ways to counter the armbar, so I gotta make sure I'm doing everything right to have a good end game. I'm squeezing my knees together. I'm keeping the wrist down to the chest. I'm making sure that the thumb is facing upward, like I'm doing a thumbs up. I'm gonna bring the sole of my foot that's over his head down to the ground while I elevate my hips. Again, coming under the first arm, grabbing across to the tricep, using this free arm to grab the wrist, pull across to get the angle. Guards open, bring my foot behind on this hip, bring the knee behind the arm to isolate. Using this leg to push behind his armpit after I elevate the hips and push. Remember to squeeze the knees, thumbs pointing up next to chest, sole of the foot that's over his head going down to the ground while I elevate my hips. Okay, now we're going to go into our first variation, and this is going to be a gi variation for a basic armbar. So again, to the guard. Now there are a lot of times where it's going to be hard to bring our arm across, whether it be over or under, to get over here. It's always a fight here, whether it be grip fighting and so on. So we're going to try to mask this. But what I mean by mask is I'm not going to go real obvious and try to get this far side arm. I'm going to go ahead and try to break this posture down and things of that nature. They'll be fighting my grip. And while they're doing this, I'm going to be, with my free hand, I'm going to go ahead and untuck the lapel. He'll fight this off, and I'll get the grip, and I'll bring him back down, and we'll keep on working. But all the while I'm doing this, I'm slowly pulling this out, and I'm bringing it nice and tight and bringing it across his shoulder. and down behind his tricep. Now when we're fighting here, at some point I will get across, and once I do get, I'm gonna put my hand around this lapel and get into a pistol grip. It's important I don't try to grab it to this side, or just grab it right here, like a finger. With the spider grip, I want to make sure it's a pistol. This will help isolate later. So when they posture up and he's fighting still, I'm still holding here, and I pull across. This is a lot easier to hold, and the grip's a lot easier to work with if I can get this lapel behind here and get this nice grip. From here, everything else goes the same way. I break my guard, I bring my foot to that hip to isolate, but the isolation is pretty clean. When I start the motion of turning and angling to isolate the arm a little more and hyperextend, I'm going to slide this hand up. Same idea, thumb facing towards the sky, like doing a thumbs up. Now, this is a little tip as well. Sometimes I feel like there's a little space here. And whenever I do feel that, I can easily just kind of bring my hands up, my legs up, call them like flutter kicks, and it takes away the space and tightens it up. From here, the same end game. Bring that sole of this foot down to the ground. My hips come up. Squeeze my knees. Remember, we're gonna pull down. They'll be fighting. They'll be working the posture up. All the while, I'm bringing this loose. When I bring it here, it'll come across. Get a pistol grip. Even if your posture's up, I don't feel too bad. This holds them down pretty well. Besides causing a lot of friction, I short up all the space. Once I nudge to the side, foot on the hip. Remember, when I angle out, I let go of the grip and slide this up. If there's space, little kicks, take away the space, keep everything nice and tight. Bringing the sole of that foot that's over the head down to the ground, elevate hips. On to the next one. Okay, on to our last variation. Now, the first two have been based on the idea that we're trying to get their arm significantly across to get the armbar. But you'll notice that when you really do roll live, it's hard to get that hard of an angle. And a lot of times, people are going to be pushing up on your chest and shoulders and bringing putting their hands underneath your armpit to pull you up. So we're going to be basing off that. This variation is going to have a lot of the same mechanics, but we're going to use a different grip to grab the arm and isolate. So when they're pushing up, I'm going to go ahead and grab the sleeve here. And this is fine as far as I don't got to bring it all the way across. I just got to nudge it in and get it off my shoulders and my armpit. From here I can open my guard, and I still go through the same process. I put my knee on the hip, my foot on the hip, bring my knee in behind his arm. I use the back. The side of my knee is going to be coming on the back of his armpit. Well, I elevate my hips, turn and angle. The end game is always the same. Bring my knees together. Keep the wrist down to my chest. The thumb aiming towards the sky. If I have any space, I can kick my legs a bit. Bring the sole of this foot down to the ground while I elevate my hips up. Now, one thing that can help us with the turn, because sometimes when they're pushing on our armpits, and when we get the grip and we pull up, it's still hard because their base is so low to turn. So with our free hand, we can use this to come down and grab underneath their far side leg. So when I'm pushing this across, this free hand comes under to get a better angle. I'll do it from the other side so you can see.
And that'll wrap this video up. I highly recommend playing around with all 3 techniques until you hone in what works best for you. As always, drill, drill, drill. If you found this video helpful, like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, list them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'm Coach EJ.